What on earth could be hidden away in the Vatican's secret archives?
Maybe time travel devices, spell summoning books, and perhaps the devil himself.
Tell me more. Are there ancient pagan texts locked away in the Vatican archives? Well, possibly. Of all the speculation about what could be hidden in there, this is pretty high on most people's lists. It would make sense why the Vatican would want to keep stuff like this out of the eyes of the public. The idea is that if the public knew about these pagan influences, it might undermine the church's authority. There could be ancient scrolls or manuscripts that contain knowledge or beliefs from pre-Christian religions, ones that could show evidence that early Christianity was influenced or just straight up borrowed from these older traditions. Is it much of a stretch to think that maybe the church is hiding these documents to maintain its power? I mean, after all, the church has spent centuries promoting itself as the one and singular truth. If people started thinking that Christianity was influenced by other stuff, it could lead to a lot of questions and doubts.
An ancient piece of sacred technology with the ability to give its users a glimpse into the past. It's called the Chronovisor, and apparently it's hidden within the archives of the Vatican. The Chronovisor is a time viewing device, and it was first described in detail by Father Francois Brune in his book Le Novio Mystery du Vatican, written in 2002. According to his writings, the Chronovisor device was created by some of the world's greatest scientists back in the 1950s, and it works by processing electromagnetic radiation left over from past events. When a person presses their face up against the Chronovisor, they are able to see and hear historical events that have already taken place, events such as the birth, crucifixion, and resurrection of Christ. While the device has been used by an incredibly few select members of the church, it wasn't in use for long. Shortly after its creation, the hierarchy of the church decided that the device was far too powerful for humanity at this current time in history, and so it was dismantled, hidden, and all physical evidence of its existence was erased.
Some believe the Vatican secret archives holds records about secret societies like the Illuminati, and that maybe even the church is controlled by them. The Illuminati is, of course, probably the most well-known secretive group in history, which is a total contradictory sentence, but what they actually got up to, or still may be getting up to, is still very much a mystery. A lot of people believe that they hold a lot of power behind the scenes, influencing major world events, and there are a lot of conspiracies about documents, texts, artifacts, or some other form of evidence of the Illuminati or secret societies like it locked away deep in the Vatican Apostolic Archive, as it's now named. Some conspiracy theorists think the Vatican could have documents that outline the Illuminati's plans, maybe even lists of members. Pretty obvious why you'd need to keep that information out of the public eye, especially if high-ranking officials in the Vatican are actually part of the Illuminati, which is not something I'm making up here. None of these ideas are mine. There are just a number of conspiracy theorists who have a hunch that these officials are steering the church's actions to fit the Illuminati's needs.
A textbook of magic written by a man who, during the writing process, claimed to have been possessed by the devil. It's called the Grand Grimoire, because obviously they couldn't call it the Holy Grimoire, and it might just hold the secrets of heaven and hell. The book was written in the 16th century by Honorius of Thebes, and if you believe him, he wrote it with the help of the devil himself. The book contains instructions on how to make magic talismans and amulets, how to cast spells, how to summon demons, and even how to summon the devil. While there are many copies out there of the Grand Grimoire, the only unaltered copy containing the true, uncensored secrets of magic and demons, heaven and hell, is safely tucked away in the archives of the Vatican, which honestly is a good thing, because just imagine if a legitimate book about magic and demons fell into the wrong hands. It would be chaos and carnage and just all around a really bad time.
Here's a creepy tale about St. Peter's bones. In 1939, 9 pieces of bone were found under St. Peter's Basilica, the heart of the Vatican. What's strange is that these bones were discovered in a simple shoebox, not some grand tomb. Fast forward to 2013, and Pope Francis showed these bones to the public during a Sunday service, and then they were locked away again. No one has seen them since. The Vatican claims that these are the bones of St. Peter, but they've never allowed independent scholars to actually test them. Instead, the bones remain hidden, supposedly because disturbing St. Peter's tomb could bring a thousands-year-old curse. According to the church, this curse is a serious risk for anyone who messes with the tomb. But skeptics think this curse is just an excuse to avoid scrutiny. Why hide them? Critics believe the Vatican might be worried that the tests could show the bones aren't actually St. Peter's, which of course would damage the church's credibility. So by keeping them locked away, the Vatican avoids any potential controversy.
It is no secret that the Vatican is known for storing many of the universe's greatest secrets within its guarded walls, and so it only makes sense that the Vatican would be privy to the information regarding and in possession of artifacts confirming the existence of aliens. You see, in 1998, allegedly, alien-looking skulls with elongated heads and small faces were found underneath the Vatican. Since then, the Vatican has done its absolute best to keep that secret from the world. Why? Well, because the existence of aliens pretty much undermines everything you've ever read in the Bible, and were taught in Sunday school, if you went. Unless, of course, you subscribe to the new idea that Jesus was an alien, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. Many people believe that not only has the Vatican kept the skulls found under their church hidden away for all these years, but also that they have much more direct evidence of aliens as well, hidden in the elusive and incredibly intriguing secret vaults.
Here's another wild conspiracy about the Vatican's secret archives. Some of you aren't gonna like this one, but some folks think they might contain proof that Jesus never existed. So the theory is that hidden away in the archives are communications between the Roman Emperor Nero and St. Paul discussing something to do with Jesus' existence or lack thereof. And there are some conspiracy theorists who believe these documents could be proof that Jesus was a made-up figure. Basically, that he'd been made up for political reasons of some kind. Problem is, we really have no idea what the details of this conversation are, or if it even happened at all, so it's just pure speculation. Plus, even if there was evidence of this conversation, I just doubt it would really sway people in one direction or the other. But I mean, it is possible there could be other information that could cast serious doubt on his existence, which would be the biggest cover-up in history. Let's be real though, if there was information as powerful as this, there's no way they'd risk holding on to it. That stuff would disappear conveniently.
3 secrets, 3 prophecies, and the biggest lie the Vatican may have ever told. I'm talking about the 3 secrets of Fatima. You see, according to Catholicism during medieval times, in the small Portuguese village of Fatima, 3 young men supposedly saw numerous visions they believed to have come directly from the Virgin Mary. The visions were secrets that culminated in a massive miracle, a miracle that is said to have involved the sun. Over the years, the Vatican has slowly released the 3 secrets of Fatima, but there is just one problem. No miracle, no sun. In the first secret, the young men were shown the fires of hell, which were filled with demons and the souls of the damned. The second vision showed the men that shortly after the end of World War I, World War II would begin, unless of course the Pope consecrated Russia into the Immaculate Heart of Mary, which he did not until 2022, that is. The third and final secret was released by the Vatican in 2000, supposedly. The Pope claimed that Fatima's final secret was about the persecution of Christians during the 20th century, when 45 million Christians were singled out and killed for their faith, as well as the attempted assassination of Pope John Paul II. Okay, so you've got secrets 1, 2, and 3, but still no sun and no miracle. Something is clearly missing here, probably because the final secret has yet to actually be revealed. I mean, it makes sense why in 2000, when the Catholic Church was coming down with a pretty bad rep, they would want to remind us of the horrors and adversity Christianity has faced over the years, but now, myself, and I'm sure much of the rest of the world, are really curious to figure out what the third secret truly is, because I'm just not buying it. But I'm wondering, could it change our lives as we know it?
Pope Pius XII's secret wartime documents have actually been released now, but they were locked away in the Vatican's secret archives for years. These wartime documents reveal a lot about the Vatican's actions and the Pope's relationship with the leader of the Third Reich. The documents span thousands of pages, revealing a lot about Pope Pius's actions during one of the darkest times in history. Now, people were hoping these papers would clarify the Pope's stance on the Third Reich, but it's still not entirely clear. First off, these documents don't provide clear evidence that Pope Pius XII openly condemned the actions of the Third Reich. In fact, there's proof that He had direct contact with the leader himself, which doesn't look right, and there was a lot of controversy when these documents were released because, people wanted the Pope to have taken a stronger public stand against the atrocities that were happening at the time. But at the same time, there was also evidence in these documents that Pope Pius was trying to help behind the scenes, that he was involved in more covert efforts to aid in the war effort. So was he fearing speaking out against what was going on, or was he just playing things cool to avoid suspicion? That's probably going to depend on your stance on the Pope in general.
You know what would be a really strange thing to keep in the Vatican? The supposed holiest place on earth, dedicated to God's angels and the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the devil. That's right, some people believe that Satan himself actually resides within the walls of the Vatican, hidden away somewhere in their secret vault. Furthermore, it is said that Father Gabriel Amorth had at one point in his career consulted with the devil. The father had been an incredibly successful exorcist, performing thousands of exorcisms in his lifetime before his untimely death. Perhaps now we know why. It seems he either got advice from or made a deal with an expert on the subject. On numerous occasions, Father Gabriel Amorth also claimed that the devil was hiding somewhere in the Vatican, and he often attributed scandals and corruption in the church to the devil as well. Could Father Gabriel Amorth have been correct? And is the Vatican still housing the devil to this day? Who knows, but if they are, it would certainly change our entire understanding of Christianity and the Catholic Church as we know it.
All right, well, folks, we will catch you, yes, you specifically, in the next video.
Cheers.